All right, we're in the Fox 5 backyard. If you're trying to figure out ways to get your pooch to do exactly what you want him to do and really act like man's best friend, then we've got some tips for you this morning. Here with us is Max Alligood. He's a dog behavioral therapist. And man, Max, do I need you. How are you? Pleasure.
Good,
nice to meet you this morning.
Thank you.
Yeah, first of all, where do we begin? I see you have a lovable pet pooch here, acting as calm and as collected as, is it a he or a she?
This is he. This is Paco.
Okay, Paco's just as calm as he could be. How'd you get him that way?
Well, Paco was a rescue. He came from a family. He was out of control. He was in the middle of the dining room table the first time I saw him.
Yikes.
And the first thing that I realized, I needed to teach Paco some rules, some boundaries, what he's allowed to do. And dogs are really pack animals, and they really appreciate knowing what the rules are, what the boundaries are, and that's really kind of at the basis of having a well-behaved dog.
Okay, all right. Let's go through some of these tips here. The first common mistake is getting the wrong dog. How does that happen?
Well, a lot of times people, maybe when a guy was young, he had a lab, and the lab had plenty of room to run, and now that he's married, he's got a family, he's living in a townhome, they go get a lab, and it's just too active a dog for them to have. They need to make sure they've got a dog that's getting enough exercise. Also, an intact male dog is much more likely to be aggressive. 75% of bites, Mark, come from intact male dogs, so make sure you're getting your dog neutered.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about this one. Treating the dog like a person. I know lots of folks that do this, and it's all wrong, isn't it?
Right. Well, I treat my dogs like my baby, but you've got to understand that dogs can't understand English. If I tell the dog, you can't tell the dog, don't go to the bathroom in the house and expect him to understand that. You've got to teach him what you want him to do.
Okay, too much freedom? That's a big one.
Too much freedom. I think it's important to make sure that you've got boundaries. You know, a crate, you know, using pins in a proper way is really, helps to keep the dog from getting into trouble doing things you don't want him to do.
Okay, not enough stimulation. Is that exercise and that kind of thing?
Well, you need to make sure he's getting plenty of physical exercise, but also mental exercise, and that's where the training comes in, getting him out, but about probably 2 20-minute walks a day with the dog focusing on you. Doggy daycare is great, but it's not an excuse for training.
Okay, and the last mistake is putting kids in charge. Kids can't train a dog.
Right. Kids, small kids, 10 or 12 years old, really should not be in charge of dogs. I know usually it's dad and the kids that want the dogs, but moms at home know what I'm talking about. It's usually the mom that's going to be in charge of the dog. But the family needs to be really taking care of that dog. But a 10-year-old kid out walking a big lab is just a bad mistake.
Okay, correcting the problem. Let's get to that. Where do we start?
Well, first of all, again, it's setting up rules and boundaries. And I think a lot of times, you know, it's communicating with the dog in a way that the dog understands.
Okay.
And what the dog understands is body language. They understand, you know, setting up rules for them. And that's what we try to do, is communicate with the dog in a natural way.
Okay, communicating naturally. Also, don't punish.
Right. People make a mistake of punishing the dog. You know, children can understand why they've done something if they're going in time out, but anytime you punish a dog afterwards, particularly any kind of physical punishment, is going to make the dog afraid of you. Never do anything to punish your dog. Correct the mistake ahead of time.
All right, Max, what a pleasure. Right. So nice to meet you.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, Paco's really good there.
Yeah, Paco's enjoying it.
He's amazing. Oh, amazing that he jumped from the kitchen table right there to that docile position.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about, for more information, a dog behavioral therapist just might be the answer. You can log on to our website and find out more about Bark Busters and how you can get a therapist in the Atlanta area by visiting the website, of course, myfoxatlanta.com.